What's up? This video is overdue, but it marks as my second month as a creator. Firstly, I have to give God thanks to live to see another month, right? This video marks a lot of things, actually, now that I think about it. So it's also been a month since that video blew up. It's also been a month since I've begun writing my newsletter, which you should check out, by the way, at robertaware.substack.com if you want to hear from me before a video goes out. So for this month, I want to break it down into different categories rather than what I did for April, where I was just speaking out of my head. So this one's going to be more organized. So, firstly, I want to go over what I wasn't able to achieve in this month. And this is just going to be, this category is just a contrast to what I have in my previous month videos. So, there was two things I was looking forward to: the driver's license and the hike. So, the bigger of the two in terms of disappointments would be the driver's license. I had that 3 week gap, but it wasn't the best of timing for my parents. So we weren't really able to get everything sorted out. I needed to get sorted out. My learner's permit actually is going to expire on the 10th of July. So I'm going to have to renew it first. However, there's no worry because we have a plan and everything to get everything sorted out. My motivators toward it stay the same. For example, be more independent and whatnot. And overall, it's just going to be a great help for when I go into the working world, which I'll talk more about that later. So next, there is the whole idea of having a hike. So unfortunately, we weren't able to go again this month because, exams. So people's parents weren't letting them go out on a hike and everything. Exams take priority, which is understandable. Luckily, it was very negligible because we've already reorganized and replanned everything to look forward to in the upcoming summer. So once again, more on that later. So secondly, I want to acknowledge the things I've enjoyed this month. So firstly, you have the hotel. I talked about hotel a lot, both on YouTube and on the newsletter. So I'm also working on making a whole review about it, about the entire experience. So more on that later as well. But if you want just a quick text version, sort of watered down in a sense, you can look at issues number 2 and 3 of my newsletter. I really enjoyed the time I was able to spend with my family at the hotel. Being away from home, it just makes whatever time you spend more intentional in a sense. And it was also the first time that me and my brother had to have not only separate rooms, but we were separated from them. So we've had separate rooms before, but the distance between our rooms was a lot. Like they were on the second floor, we were on the fourth floor, which is technically the fifth floor. So we had to climb 5 levels of stairs each time to go up to our room. It was pretty fun actually. I enjoyed the workout I had from climbing so much stairs. And then of course I have to love the food as well. Protein whenever I wanted to. What else could a man ask for? But I still need to get some more powder though. Don't even get me started on the gym. The gym by far maybe the thing that I enjoy the most, other than spending time with family. It was nice to expose myself to weights that were heavier than 15 pounds. So once again, what else could I have asked for? Also, as I mentioned, it's been a month since I've begun writing my newsletter. So just overall, a month since I've begun writing as a skill in general. I've enjoyed every second I have spent writing, whether it be for the newsletter or just to jot some thoughts down. So since I structure my newsletter as a journal, it allows me to reflect on each day and being able to have that daily reflection in a sense is very valuable to me. To the point where I think of becoming an author, and I don't know of what yet other than the newsletter, but what better way to prepare for that than to practice writing every day? Next, you have the things that I struggled with during May. And really and truly, I can put it all under one label: distractions. There's no really other way to describe it. It's not something I can fix overnight, but it's something that I try to better myself in each day. Because I know that whenever I solve my issue with distractions and productivity and everything, then everything else will just compound and to the roofs. In fact, it matches up with what I heard from either Alex Somozi, Hamza, Chris from First Man. I don't remember who it was from, unfortunately, but it's about people getting caught up in the whole, what are the successful people doing but I am not doing. But in fact, the approach you should have with it is, what are the successful people not doing but I'm still doing. So let that sink in for a bit, because after I heard that, my perspective on it changed a lot, especially when it comes to things like video games and chatting on Discord, or just chatting on social media, any mindless use of internet or technology, that's more than likely what the successful people are not using to the same extent that you are using it. So let that sink in. What are they not doing that you are still doing? Now, what I look forward to in June. So I'm going to have my exams finishing. I'm going to have so much time and brain space freed up. I don't have to worry about school anymore. So just that thought alone, not having to worry about school anymore, that's great to me. You can also argue that I'm going to have to worry about working, but I'd much rather work for 4 years than go back to school for 4 years. Yes, you can work while in school, but then your whole attention is split and everything is just unnecessary stress. Whereas if I'm just working, I can purely focus on working and be better at working. And of course, other ventures such as YouTube and everything. I'm also looking forward to get more acquainted with Notion. I really enjoyed using Remnote, which is the app that I used before I started using Notion. And Remnote could still get the job done for me, but I decided that Notion would be the better step for me to take as a creator, whereas Remnote was a better use for me personally in my personal life and also as a student. That's where I found Remnote to be good because it had that little flashcard feature. The next thing I'm looking forward to is getting my voter's ID. Not really for the voting itself, but hey, I'll finally get to have a government ID that isn't my passport. So it'll be nice to have my wallet and everything. And of course, I have the hikes that I mentioned that I pre-planned and everything to happen later on in the summer. So I have one set up right as exams finish early July. So that's when I'm going back to the same place I went in April for that hike. And then later down in August, we're going to Blue Mountain Peak. I talked about Blue Mountain Peak in the previous month review. It's the highest point in Jamaica, 2,000 something meters, 7,000 something feet. There's still some polishing to do with the whole plans for it and everything, but everything has gone well up to this point. So really and truly, I can't wait for it. Next, I have some general updates and just some ideas that I've been having so I can give you guys that kind of insight behind the scenes. So with exams ending, I'm really going to have to focus on YouTube and other ventures outside of, school, of course. So as I mentioned, there isn't going to be any college for me. So I'm going to have to find a job at one point or another. Fortunately, that means that I can also start making money sooner than everybody else would, especially people who don't go to jobs at all throughout their college and tertiary education lives. It also means that I can really focus on YouTube, my newsletter, everything else side hustle related. And really and truly, I don't really have any other options. Like I made this conclusion the other day. I really just sat down and thought to myself for 5 minutes. I was like, come August, September, when people are going back to school, I need to step up my game. Like really and truly, I need to step up my game. Because when I get into that working world, or when I get into that point where YouTube becomes professional for me, I'm just gonna keep on putting in work, because there's not gonna be any other option. So not only just to provide for myself and to make my own goals out of it, but also to just prove to others that it's possible to not go the traditional way of 4 years extra of school, yada, yada, yada. So I have lots of video ideas. This screenshot doesn't even show all of them, as I'm still trying to transfer some of the ideas that I have on Remnote over to Notion. I'm also thinking of uploading a table tennis series between me and my father from the hotel vacation. It's going to be my next project to work on. I also plan to make a little trailer for it and everything, dabble with my creativity. And you're going to enjoy seeing me school. That's all I can say, because there were some times when it was, back and forth, but really and truly you're going to enjoy seeing me get schooled in table tennis. So expect great things from me overall for the second half of the year, because the journey I'm on can only get better, 1% better each day. So it's just going to keep on compounding and compounding and compounding. As I mentioned before, I don't have a choice. So I either get better or I stay complacent and, just be useless in a sense. And I don't want to be useless. I want to have use. I want to provide something for other people, whether it be my newsletters, my articles on the newsletter, or the YouTube videos that I'm making right now. I just want to be able to provide that for people, ultimately with the goal of being able to provide for my own family. I really enjoy these type of videos. It forces me to reflect on an entire month. You know, that's 31 days, 28th of February. But yeah. And I think it's pretty great. It's a pretty great thing to do when you're trying to be more conscious. It's easy for us to forget all the good that happens in our life. So reflections like this can help you stay grounded and remind you of the things that you may not have already been appreciating. I know it has for me. So if there's one thing I want you to take from this video, I want you to practice these month-end type of reflections. You don't have to make a video about it. Just write it down somewhere and use these headings, at least these 3 headings. Things I enjoyed, struggles I had, and what I look forward to. And trust you, you're going to have way better mindfulness towards your months and just a better attitude if you can practice doing these month-style reflections. That basically wraps up me. I hope it went well for you and you're able to achieve some of your goals. Although it already started, I hope the rest of June goes well for you. If you found value from this video, just remember to subscribe to the channel and leave a like on the video. With that being said, I'll see you again very soon. God bless.